I have finally seen the light of Morningtide, and it is glorious. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and today we are heading to Standard to play some Morningtide's Light. And I'm pretty excited about this one, because if you really think about it super hard, Morningtide's Light is kind of just a really weird panharmonicon, a way to reuse our ETB triggers. It's a 4-mana sorcery that says exile any number of target creatures, so our creatures or our opponent's creatures. At the beginning of the next end step, we return those cards to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control, and then until our next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to us, and then we gotta exile Morningtide's Light. So Morningtide's Light, it's a really weird card. Normally when we see mass blink spells, they're at instant speed and use them to like save your board from a sweeper or whatever. Morningtide's Light doesn't really work like that. It's sorcery speed. So what do you do with Morningtide's Light? Well, first, we get to reuse any of our ETB triggers. That is the most powerful aspect of the card, is we can just blink all of our stuff, and we can literally blink our entire board, because the fog mode means we don't really have to worry about having blockers back the next turn for our opponent's stuff. We can just blink everything, which makes us unique compared to most blink spells. Usually, if you blink stuff, there's some risk involved, because your opponent might smash it back for a ton of damage, but Morningtide's Light doesn't work that way. So it's essentially 4-mana sorcery speed fog, plus mass blink, and since we can hit our opponent's creatures, we can use Morningtide's Light to potentially get blockers out of the way. We can use Morningtide's Light to kill a bunch of tokens. So the card is actually oddly flexible. So what are we doing with Morningtide's Light? And the main plan is trying to blink our own creatures for value. So we have another round, which lets us exile any number of creatures we control, return to the battlefield under their owner's control, and we can do this X times. So it's 3 to blink everything once, 5 to do it twice, 7 to do it 3 times. So this is just a way we can reuse all of our ETBs again and again and again. So what are we actually blinking with Morningtide's Light? And the most powerful thing the deck does is Quantum Riddler shenanigans. So Quantum Riddler, you warp it for 2 mana, you draw a card, then we can Morningtide's Light to blink it to keep it around, or another round to blink it to keep it around, or Charming Prince to blink it and keep it around, draw even more cards, get this massive flyer. Charming Prince, I think, is actually a pretty good card. It's kind of a funny card. Like, a lot of the cards that see the most play in Standard are really good at doing one thing, like Badger Molekup, really good at making a ton of mana, but that's all it does. Charming Prince doesn't have that one thing it does super well, but it does a bunch of like kind of powerful things pretty well. You can scry a little bit, you can gain some life, you can blink something like Quantum Riddler. So that's kind of the big finish for the deck, is Quantum Riddler kind of scam shenanigans. But we also just have a ton of other good blink targets. For card draw, we got Quantum Riddler, Novice Inspector, Helpful Hunter. For removal, we have so many annoying creatures that bounce our opponent's stuff, tap down their stuff, turn their stuff into treasures in the case of Kite Sail Arsonist. Flood Pit's Drowner taps something down with a stun counter, Jill bounces something, Tylee taps something down for as long as it sticks around, Kite Sail Arsonist makes something into a treasure. Disruptor of Currents, I think, is actually kind of a standard sleeper. The combination of Flash and Convoke and being able to bounce literally any non-land when it enters is actually super powerful. We can sometimes cast this literally for free just by tapping a bunch of stuff. We can bounce our own stuff to reuse its ETB, bounce our opponent's stuff to get out of the way, so there's a lot of shenanigans there. As far as just real removal, Seam Rip, Get Lost to deal with the Badger Molekups and so forth. In the mana base, pretty straightforward stuff, bunch of dual lands, Abandoned Air Temple, Agniquella for some extra value, Restless Anchorage is a creature land. In the sideboard, we get a bunch of counter spells, some artifact and enchantment removal, Rest in Peace for graveyards, High Noon to slow down decks that cast a lot of spells in a turn, Clarion Conquer for Badger Molekup, Avatar's Wrath is a weird wrath, and that is Morningtide's Light for Standard, and that's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see if Morningtide's Light is actually just 3 panharmonicons in a trench coat. I don't even know if that made sense, but I'm gonna go with it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap-up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. It is Morningtide's Light time, and yes, we would like to play first, and this hand, looks pretty good. I mean, we got some card draw, we can tap your stuff down. No Morningtide's Light, but we don't really need Morningtide's Light in our opening hand. It's more of like a mid to late game card, really. See what our opponent's up to. Opponent. Multiversal Patch doesn't tap. Flitterwing Nuisance. All right, so Fairies? Demir, maybe? Do we need to answer this? I can't even activate it yet. We can also just run out the Helpful Hunter, or we can pass and... Yeah, let's just pass. We can get down a Flood Pit's Drowner here. Yeah, we're gonna get down the Drowner. See if our opponent reacts. All right, that's fine. Spell Stutter. So our opponent's definitely more fairy heavy They might still just be Dimir, but, well, now we can Seam Rip. Get rid of the nuisance. That's the turn. We still got to keep Kaido in mind. All right, opponent is Dimir. Well, now the question is, how fairy heavy are they? All right, there's a Cecil. So it's basically Dimir with enough fairies for Spell Stutter, apparently. Well, let's do it again. Floodpits Drowner. Do you have another one? All right, not this time. Drawing a land here would actually be kind of nice, because that would leave up Disruptor of Currents. Charming Prince, eh? Oh, we really need a land. We really need a land. Well, all right. All right, Helpful Hunter. Can you hunt us a Plains? All right, opponent's also going to Floodpits Drowner. Tap down our, it's the Drowner Wars. Land? All right, that's unfortunate. Okay, well, at least we have this Helpful Hunter that can block the Floodpits Drowner to make sure our opponent can't put a Kaido into play, because that would be bad. Opponent, Reckwitting Hex, gonna take down the Floodpits Drowner. And are we getting in? I mean, we will block. All right, opponent's not going to attack. All right, there's the land. A turn later than we wanted, but our opponent also missed a land, so it's kind of fair. And this is not bad. So I think we just we have two options here. I think we're just gonna pass, leave up the Drowner. At some point, we can do the Quantum Riddler into Charming Prince play. Opponent gonna get in. Yeah, I mean, let's just bounce it. We could also, like, bounce Floodpits Drowner and block Cecil, but I think we'd rather keep our bodies, because eventually we are going to draw Morningtide's Light, and the more things with ETBs we have, the better it's going to be. All right, opponent going to shoot the Sheriff. Sure, well, I mean, this is fine. Okay, we draw land. I want to get a draw 2 out of this Quantum Riddler, but it might be too greedy to wait. We could Floodpits Drowner, tap the Floodpits Drowner, Quantum Riddler, warp it, and then not Charming Prince. Let's just wait. Let's just wait. We're going to Charming Prince. We are going to scry 2, land to the bottom, keep the Disruptor of Currents. We're just going to wait and do it next turn. Get in, hit ya. We can flash in the Floodpits Drowner, and this should set us up for the draw 2, warp draw 2 next turn, and then hopefully cast from exile, draw 2 the following turn. About it. Cecil. Returns. Opponent still not finding land number 4, which, not bad for us. Opponent, passing. Well, we're going to run out the Drowner. Tap down, I guess, the Cecil. And untap. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2. Let's warp this Riddler, draw a couple cards. Yeah, one of the synergies of the deck is warp Riddler, Charming Prince, blink Riddler to keep it, or, oh, well, all right, speak of the synergy. Oh, this could actually be kind of wild. All right, so we can Charming Prince. We can blink the Riddler. We could also Disruptor of Currents to get another draw 2. But then what are we bouncing? Floodpits Drowner? But yeah, we're going to do it. I mean, we will just draw all the cards. Disruptor of Currents. And, jeez. I don't really want to bounce anything, but we're going to bounce Floodpits Drowner. This sets up the draw 2 when we get back our Riddler. And hopefully we just drown our... I mean, we're ahead on board, and we're catching up in cards now. Quantum Riddler, draw 2. If we could draw Morningtide's Light now... Well, all right. We'll have to settle for a Tylee. I mean, we got multiple... One of the cool things about this deck is, like, half of our creatures are disruptive in some way. So even if we don't draw Morningtide's Light, our deck is very good at just, like, annoying our opponent. Tap your stuff, bounce your stuff, draw some cards, and then eventually, like, could you imagine Morningtide's Light on this board? Like, we draw with Riddler, we bounce something, we tap something, we draw with Helpful Healer, we get 2 Charming Prince triggers that can gain life, they can blink something else. Opponent, Bitter Triumph. Trying to say aggro. Gonna take down our blocker, get in for 2. Opponent is fighting the good fight. Kaisia Larcenist, eh? The bad news in this matchup is our opponent's stuff isn't especially appealing to bounce. Their stuff's not good enough to make me want to bounce it. Well, it's Tylee, tap down the Drowner, and opponent scoops it up, and, well, that was about as fair as this deck can play. That was just running out our stuff, tapping your stuff, no Morningtide's Lights, no shenanigans. Sideboard-wise, Spell Snare we can bring in. That seems fine. Tidebinder. So we're mostly worried about what? Kaido, Enduring Curiosity are our biggest fears in this matchup. So I think things that can answer them, which is mostly Tidebinder, seems good. Kaisia Larcenist seems not as important because it's just going to die anyway. And then what else can we cut? I mean, probably trim a helpful hunter, right like that. All right, on to game number 2. We're gonna be on the draw for this one. See if we can get some Morningtide lights going this time. I mean, game 1 went really well. We didn't do the big bling thing because we never do a Morningtide's like, there we go. All right, Morningtide's light in hand. All right, well, let's see how this goes. Opponent, tap land. Well, we'll play land and get down the Novice Inspector. Opponent, land, passes. Yeah, we're gonna get in. If you flash something in, that's fine. Hit ya, pass the turn. If they flash some, ooh, Bitter Bloom Bear. Okay. Well, that is awkward. We are going to flash in this Flood Pit Drowner while our opponent's tap down. So I think the plan is tap down the Bitter Bloom Bear for now. So our opponent cannot put a Kaido into play. And then next turn, we can Seam Rip and get rid of it, although there's still a token. One of the other sweet things about Morningtide's Light is it does just straight up kill tokens. So it is a token wrath on top of our shenanigans. Well, untap land. Seam Rip. See if we can get rid of this Bitter Bloom Bear, please. Opponent. All right, no Tidebinder. See if our opponent does anything. Okay, shoot the Sheriff. Well, I mean, I guess this means, I guess they could do it anyway. If they want to pick up their token and put a Kaido into play, we can't really stop that. I mean, I guess we got them to use the Shoot the Sheriff on a not great Flood Pit Drowner. Yeah, we're just going to pass, draw a card with the clue, opponent, land. Come on, no Kaido. How about no Kaido? One time, no Kaido. At this point, do you even put it into play or do you just hardcast it? I mean, I guess they're worried about a counter, so you might be incentivized to ninjutsu still because, yeah. All right, so opponent's gonna cash in the token, get a Kaido into play. We're gonna clue into Helpful Hunter. Not the most helpful draw at the moment. Well, can we slog through a Kaido now is the question. Bound it, Kaido. We do have a couple of Get Lost we could draw into. We can also just get a bunch of bodies in play and try to attack it. Opponent, Flitterwing Nuisance. Well, that is a land. It's a little more tapid than we were hoping for, but let's get into the Kaido, hit it. I guess we played the Helpful Hunter. Draw a card. I mean, we might be able to Morningtide's Light now. Ooh, Charming Prince, okay. Well, that's interesting. So we'll see what our opponent does this turn. If our opponent taps down, all right, Cecil, and we get a window, we might be able to Quantum Riddler, Charming Prince, bound it, getting in. Yeah, we're gonna take it. Would you like to draw 2? No, opponent hits us down to 11. We're gonna do their drawing with their Kaido. They're getting a lot of bodies too. The attacking the Kaido is gonna be tricky. Flitterwing Nuisance. And opponent passes. Well, we gotta go for it. Quantum Riddler, Orbit. I mean, if they have a counter, all right, there's an Essence Scatter. Well, now I guess we run out, since we drew another Charming Prince, run out one of the Charming Princes and just plink a Helpful Hunter? I don't know if we're winning this one or not. Draw a card. I mean, at some point, we're going to be able to Morningtide's Light to Fog and get a bunch of value. I mean, if we get one more land, we can Quantum Riddler Warp Morningtide's Light all in one turn. Would you like to draw 4 cards? Wow, opponent still not going for the Flitterwing Nuisance. Well, we got to do something soon. We might have to Morningtide's Light this turn, just for the fog mode mostly. Opponent, Kaido gonna draw a card. Yes, Kaido is wrecking us. It is wrecking us. Opponent mills away 2, draws a card. Well, I mean, our opponent has spent a lot of good removal on kind of mid-value creatures, which is nice. So do we have to Morningtide's Light? Everything at Kaido. All right, Bitter Bloom Bear. So is our opponent going to chump to keep the Kaido? Or I guess they can trade. All right, trade with a Helpful Healer. Kaido goes to 1. Ugh. So I want to do the Quantum Riddler Blink thing, but I'm afraid we die. So I think we have to Morningtide's Light. We get a couple of clues out of it. We're not going to blink any of our opponent's creatures. So we get a couple of clues. Most importantly, we do not die this turn. And our opponent can't draw with their Flitterwing Nuisances because they cannot damage us. Also, they're not going to be able to draw with Kaido, so that's, I mean, that's not bad. I'm still not sure if we can get, it's close. We're down to 4. Not sure if we can actually get back into this game or not. Let's see if our opponent attacks here. A lot of people don't read Morningtide's Light. don't realize there's a fog attached to the blink. They can. All right, gonna take up the Kaido. So I think our opponent understands. Yeah, opponent passes with another one. Well, okay, if they have a Spell Pierce or something, we're kind of wrecked, but we got to go for it. Quantum Riddler. And then we in Morningtide's Light, blink everything, keep the Riddler, and draw a bunch of cards. I mean, the question is, can they answer the Morningtide's Light? Blink, 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 Morningtide's Light number 2. Come on, Magic Gods. No counters? Oh, they have it. And now, opponent says hello. A little cocky over there, Demir, aren't we? They have Kaido. Yeah, we can't get back into it from here. All right. Well, almost. That Spell Stutter was brutal. I don't think we really changed. I think this is the setup. We just couldn't deal with the Kaido quick enough. I mean, I guess one the game might be fine. Now that we see our opponent's, like, has a bunch of counters. Yeah, let's try it like that. Well, okay. We got Morningtide's Light literally for days. 3 lands, 2 creatures, 2 Morningtide's Light. Well, we came here to Morningtide's Light, and Morningtide's Light, we will. Opponent doing a little bit of mulliganing. Probably trying to set up a Kaido hand. Well, Plains and Novice Inspector. You. Opponent. Just a tap land. Ooh, another round, too. Our one another round. Get an edge down to 19. Another round. I don't think it's as good as Morningtide's Light overall, but if we can build a big board and blink it multiple times, it can do some crazy things. We're going to crack this clue. Opponent has a Cecil. All right, there's a Tidebinder. So Tidebinder. Yeah, I kind of want to play the tap land, but this would be the turn they could ninjutsu Kaido. So I think we need to shock with the Multiversal Passage and pass, because we can stifle the ninjutsu trigger with Tishana's Tidebinder. Opponent land. Opponent, no Kaido. All right. Well, Cecil hits us. And wow, opponent's passing? Okay. Well, then we're just going to run out this Tidebinder. Get some bodies. The upside of getting down this Tidebinder is it lets us convoke the Disruptor next turn, which is what we're actually trying to set up, is just another body for convoke purposes. Yeah, let's just play the Restless Anchorage. So now this turn, we're not going to attack. I don't know how sus this is. I don't know if people have Disruptor of Currents on their radar. Like, is not attacking here sus? All right, opponent has a Flood Pits Drowner. Yeah, so we got to do it now. I mean, I think we still do it because it's going to set up a pretty good Morningtide's Light. Yeah, let's Disruptor. Convoke it out, bounce a Cecil. This also means our opponent still can't put a Kaido into play because we just blocked the Flood Pits Drowner. Opponent, Flitterwing Nuisance. And Cecil returns. Sure. It might just be Morningtide's Light time. It's not, untap land. It's not an insane Morningtide's Light. Oh, we could also double another round. Double another round, we get what? We bounce 2 things, we get 2 clues. Yeah, I think we go, oh yeah, wait. X equal 1. We do it twice. All right, there we go. Yeah, I mean, let's see if they got a counter another round. Do you have a counter, opponent? Or can we get some blink value? Blink them all. They come back. Blink them all again. So we're going to get X2 all the... This is actually kind of a weird Panharmonicon deck. It's Panharmonicon-less Panharmonicon, with her blink being the Panharmonicon. I guess we can... No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, we'll just do no to the Tidebinders. So Disruptor of Currents, bounce the Cecil, bounce the Flitterwing Nuisance, pick them up, get a couple of clues, and yeah, pass the turn. I mean, we still have double Morningtide's Light in hand. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Like, this is where we want to be with this deck. Found it. Another Drowner. Gonna tap down the 3/3. It does put us in some tough choices where we have to decide, is it worth blocking and losing stuff with ETB triggers? I think the answer is actually yes. We're gonna block with both. Get them off the battlefield. We do have the clues. It'd be nice if we could draw... Ooh, Charming Prince. Okay, Charming Prince is not bad. Yeah, let's Charming Prince. We can Charming Prince... Blink the Disruptor Occurrence, bounce the Cecil. Disruptor Occurrence is actually very good. Like, I've been... All right, opponent has an Essence Scatter. I've been surprised at just how strong it actually is. Now, let's play the land untapped, and this feels kind of bad, but we're going to do a sad Morningtide's Light. Blink the Disruptor, bounce this poor Cecil. Opponent has spent a lot of turns recasting this Cecil. I guess it's only 1 mana, so it's not that bad, but found it. Oh, Cecil! They have not been able to draw off the Flitterwing, which is good. We draw a useless land. Well, I think it's some clue cracking time. Clue number 1. We find another charming prince. Well, I guess we can run it back. We can do this all day, opponent. We can do this literally all day. This is what our deck does. Charming. Oh, come on now. Spell stutter. Oh, all right. Yeah. We could have played the land untapped. I don't think it's actually worth it. So the only downside about this is it does mean our opponent can draw a card. They can use their Flitterwing, draw a card. If they attack with a Cecil, I think we do block, because we don't want them to draw 2. The Disruptor did some serious work. That bounced a lot. Opponent going to Flitterwing. All right, so opponent gets in for 2. We draw a card with the clue. We had a lot of Charming Princes on the top of our deck. My God, opponent down to 13. Draws a guy. There we go. That's what we've been missing. There's no way to get the draw 2, right? All right, so let's Quantum Riddler. Draw a card. Into a seam. Oh, that's actually insane. Charming Prince. Blank the Quantum Riddler. And now we can also just Seam Rip to get down to 1 card in hand, so we get to draw 2 end step. And all right. Well, opponent did their thing. We finally found a Riddler. It comes back. We draw 2. Wow, 1 land short of being able to disrupt her again right now. Found it. Gonna duress. Well, there goes our Morningtide's Light, which I'm not even sure we need the Morningtide's Light anymore. We might be able to just... Ooh, another Disruptor. Disruptor is a card not to sleep on. Like, bouncing any non-land and being able to convoke it is actually... Yeah, instant speed is actually very good. Well, hit ya. Down to 9, and we're just gonna pass. I mean, our entire hand is instant speed at the moment. Opponent, Bitter Bloom Bear. Well, I think we just bounce that so they don't get a token. Yeah, we're just gonna bounce it now. Our opponent can recast it, but this means no token, and I don't know if our opponent, I mean, they're just gonna have to chump block, right? Bounce a Bitter Bloom Bear. Pass the turn. We still got the Tiley too at the ready. Opponent, reading, counting, and dying, and, well, taking down to me or Morningtide's Light. a bit of a grind, but in the end, the value, pretty immense. I mean, this hand's actually pretty good. This is what our hands look like, right? A bunch of these value-y tricky creatures in some blink. Oh boy, Badger Mole Cup time. Ooh, Paw Patch. A little paw. Well, land you. Opponent playing some bunnies and land and Innkeeper's Talent. That is kind of obnoxious. Well, let's play the land and let's just play the Flood Pits Drowner. Tap it down. I know we can do it at instant speed. I'm a little worried about our opponent having some interaction, though. Are we leveling up? Mockingbird. Oh, boy. All right, that's a lot of bunnies. And now they level up the Innkeeper's Talent, so now they have Ward as well. Oh, that's awkward. That is awkward. Because we could play this Kitesail Larcenist to answer one, but the Ward from the Innkeeper's Talent. Well, let's get in with the Flood Pits. Let's see if our opponent blocks. Please, opponent. All right, opponent not going to block. Well, I guess it's just Helpful Hunter and tap land then. Next turn, we can play the Larcenist and another tap land. Well, Hallowed Fountain tap, go. Yes, is a lot of rabbit damage. Opponent, land. And a counter, all right. Getting in with the flyer. And not even gonna give us a chance to trade with the other one. We draw even more lands. Well, let's play the plains. And I think we gotta just Larcenist here. Larcenist, I think we get rid of... Oh, it's gonna give him another counter too? Oh, do we want to treasure up our Helpful Hunter is the question. We can already double... Yeah, we're not gonna do it. We can already double another round. We can already Quantum Riddler. Yeah, so we're going to treasure up the Flying Paw Patch. Unfortunately, the other one becomes a 6/5 Trampler, which is still kind of a problem. We could use a Seam Rip. Some way to answer this big Paw, and then we're kind of in business. Opponent, land. And I'm going to double up them counters. Level Innkeeper's Talent up to level 3. And now we got an 8/7 Trampler. Down to 6. Yeah, we're kind of dying very quickly. Oh, even more lands. So another round doesn't... we can do a sad another round. Like another round X1. That's not very good, but what we want to do is like Quantum Riddler another round. But if we do that, then I think there's a chance we just die to this Paw Patch. Yeah, let's go to combat. Get in, hit ya. Get in, hit ya. Down to 13. Yeah, we have to do it this way, unfortunately. Man, we're like 1 mana off of doing all the cool stuff. Actually, can we live? Is it possible we live? Is there any way we survive if we warp the Riddler? I don't think there is. All right, another round. Sadly, X equals 0. So blanket all ones. I mean, we still get a card, and we get another Flood Pitster on our trigger. And this lets us tap down the Paw Patch. Yeah, this Ward, this Innkeeper Talent Ward, that 1 man, it's kind of amazing. Ward 1 doesn't sound, oh, Disruptor. Ward 1 doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't a lot, but it's amazing how it can really throw off so many plays, that 1 extra mana. Like, if it wasn't for Ward 1, we easily warp the Quantum Riddler, then blink everything, and that turns way better, but that Ward 1 from Innkeeper's Talent, really doing some work for our dear opponent. About it. What are we doing? I mean, opponents only got 3 cards in hand. I can't believe we're just losing to this 1-drop. We're just straight up getting beaten down by this Paw Patch. But no, Lano Realm, sure. I mean, we can bounce it to reset it now, which is something. Oh, another Mockingbird for a Kite Sail Larcenist. Okay. We also have Wards, so they can't Larcenist our Larcenist, thankfully. All right, opponent, Larcenist our Flood Pits Drowner. Keeps adding counters. Yeah, grows the Llanowar. Ooh, there's a Charming Prince. So, let's see. 1, 2. Let's warp a Riddler. Warp a Riddler, draw a card. Ooh, Seam Rip. Okay, Seam Rip is actually kind of insane. That is a very, very big draw here. So, land. First, we need to Charming Prince. Charming Prince. Blink the Riddler. We might be stabilizing. Maybe. Do we Seam Rip? I think we just wait and we go with the Disruptor this turn. So we get back to Quantum Riddler, we draw a card. Oh, we've drawn a lot of lands. So we can bounce something. Like in our ideal world, Nature's Rhythm for 4. So, well, here comes a Space Snake, a Boroid, and well, now we have to deal with a Boroid because of this Innkeeper's Talent. Oh, does this mean we die? Maybe we had to Seam Rip there. That might have been a mistake to not Seam Rip. We still could have done it. We would have had to use the treasure. This forces us also to Convoke early. So we bounce a Boroid to keep everything from getting super huge. They still get the Paw Patch triggers. And it's double counters. Oh, and yeah. Oh, that's not great. Bound it. Yeah, getting in, and I think that does it. We have to double chump. Yeah. I mean, a Boroid's gonna be a problem no matter what. But I think we needed to Seam Rip the Paw Patch on another Paw Patch. I think our opponent's got it now. Flood Pits Drowner. Not going to be enough in this scenario. Ooh. All right, that was close. That was much closer than it looked. We just could not deal with that that turn 1 Paw Patch. Ended up winning the entire game. Like, our opponent just rode it all the way. Well, Spell Snare's coming in. Requisition Raid seems fine. Avatar's Wrath. Probably some Clarion Conquerors. Those are the cards we're interested in. We'll see if we can actually fit all of them. So, go down the Helpful Hunters. So we can't go down all the creatures because we do need to be able to Convoke off of them, but we can cut some of them. We can go down maybe the Tylee. So tapping down doesn't work very good against a Boroid. That's kind of the issue. In some matchups, tap down removal is great. Other matchups, like this one, not as great, because a Boroid, Badger Cub, can still pop off, even if they're tapped. What else do we cut here? This is where it gets tough. I guess we can go down the Larcenist. Maybe we go 2 Conquerors. Yeah, I guess just trim like a Novice Inspector and then another round. Run it like that, I guess. Well, we got a bunch of sideboard cards. Can they stop Simic Aboroid, the Simic Spew? That is the question. We'll play first in this hand. All right, this hand's fine. This hand's reasonable. I mean, if we get to this Clarion Conqueror, that should be spectacular, and we can beat an Innkeeper's Talent. Well, let's play the Novice Inspector. Get a clue, go. Little awkward that Clarion Conqueror shuts down our clues, but whatever. Our arch enemy, the Rabbit, Pawpatch Recruit. Well, let's just play the untapped land. Do we want to waste a Charming Prince here? Yeah, I guess we just get a body on the battlefield. Charming Prince and Scry 2? Spellsnare would have been so much better if we had it this turn. I don't know how good it is in the future. Yeah, we're going to go bottom. We are going to keep, I think, the planes. Because the plane gets us to Avatar's Wrath, and Avatar's Wrath could be important here. Yeah, if we had Spellsnare this turn to counter the 2-drop, I think we definitely keep it, but next turn they would have already played their Badger Mole Cub. Thankfully, we do got Clarion Conqueror, which is the single best thing we can play against Badger Mole Cub. Planes, and get down the dragon, and good luck tapping that land now, opponent. Badger Mole Cub does not like Clarion Conqueror very much. Well, now our opponent's down to 1 functional mana at the moment. Not bad about it. Gonna play a land. I mean, Simic's not very good at killing things. They might have a little bit of bounce, some bounce offs or something, but typically Simic is not great at just like getting a Clarion Conqueror off the battlefield, which is good news for us because the longer we can keep the Conqueror, the longer our opponent's deck is not going to do a whole lot about it. What do you think of Badger Mole Cub now? What do you think of Badger Mole Cub? Is it a problem? Is it a problem? I feel like its play pattern is still pretty problematic. I know the Pro Tour kind of bested it. Would you like to copy Clarion Conqueror, opponent? Come on. How about another? You can shut down our clue twice. Found it. All in on the Pawpaws. Gonna make another Pawpatch Recruit. Passes the turd. Ooh, Quantum Riddler. I mean, we can Avatar's Wrath, but I don't even think we want to Avatar's Wrath. I don't even think that's helpful, really. Let's get and hit you with a Clarion Conqueror. I mean, we can warp a Riddler and just see what happens. We can Requisitions Raid. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, let's Hallowed Fountain untapped. The only downside of warping the Riddler is, yeah, let's just warp it. Let's just warp it. Maybe we draw like a Charming Prince or something. Oh, hey, a Charming Prince or something. Well, that took a turn for the better. Now we get to blink the Quantum Riddler, get out another Charming Prince, get back the Quantum Riddler. It sticks around, draw another card, and with this Avatar's Wrath in hand, I think we might have this one kind of locked up. I am not sure how our opponent realistically gets back in this one. I mean, it probably starts with killing the Clarion Conqueror. Like, they can't even slam in a Boroid because this land doesn't make mana. Even if they go land, they can't play a Boroid this turn, and I think we just have a fast enough clock that, I mean, if they do a Boroid and something goes wrong, we can always just Avatar's Wrath. And our stuff, yeah, we got to spend 2 to recast it, but that's a lot of good ETB triggers that we get to reuse. Opponent thinking. And more Mockingbirds. Going to copy a Charming Prince. And, oh, that's not going to do what you want, I don't think. Blinks out the Mockingbird Pawpatch. Oh, are they trying to make a land? Is this the most convoluted land drop we've ever seen? It is. Charming Prince to blink the Mockingbird to clone a land just to get a little closer to Boroid. Well, we're going to hit you with the Flyers. Opponent's going to take it, and, I mean, we will just pass. We still have the Disruptor of Current, so even... They have the flying land now. Mockingbird's so funny. So even if they go land a Boroid, we can just bounce it. And opponent's not going to stick around to see what happens, scoops it up, and that went pretty well. Yeah, it turns out our sideboard cards, pretty helpful against the Badger Mole Cub deck. I kind of want the third Conqueror. I don't know what I want to cut for it, though. That's the problem. What do we go down? All of our stuff is kind of good. Huh. You know what? Let's go to another Novice Inspector. Run it like that. This hand, well, we got to Conquer. I mean, that is the best card. We got to Get Lost, too, so we can get rid of a turn 2 Badger Mole Cub if we need to. Ooh, and an Avatar's Wrath. Well, land go. Opponent, no one drop is nice. Gonna play a land and Leyline Weaver. Well, play the island, and yeah, I think it's still worth just killing. Like, this keeps them from getting down a Boroid this turn. Next turn we play the Clarion Conquer. That's the awkward part of it is, all right, Llanowar Elves, sure. That's the awkward part is we do just naturally shut that down next turn with Clarion Conquer, but we don't really want them to play a Borroid that turn. Yeah, now we're going to play the Conquer. This also shuts down the maps, which is a little bonus. If our opponent does have a Borroid, all right, opponent's just going to play a tap land. We can disrupt it. I mean, our opponent needs an answer to the Clarion Conquer. That is step one for our opponent. Wow, opponent passes. We draw more removal. Well, get it with a Conquer, hit you. Down to 17. And I guess we just do a little scam thing here. Quantum Riddler, warp it. And this is going to put us pretty far ahead. All right, we draw a Flood Pits Drowner. Charming Prince. Blink the Quantum Riddler. All right, Detect Intrusion. So opponent's going to counter the trigger, which is fine. I wonder, what happens if you counter the return to play trigger? Does it trigger again, or do you get to keep the thing in exile forever? Because that might be even better, right? Like, let me exile it with Charming Prince. I'm going to have to check the rules on that, because if you know, let me know in the comments, because I'm curious. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. And leaving back the Charming Prince means we still have up Disruptor. And we got the Flood Pits Drowner. All right, there's the Borroid. Well, that is going to need to be bounced. We could just kill it, but I think it's better just to bounce it and then make our opponent spend 4 mana to play it again and then kill it. Because then it's kind of a time walk. Yeah, Simic, it really is, and wow, opponent scoops it up. It really struggles when you can't use your mana dorks. Clarion Conquer is so good against them. And looks like we get to play first for this one. And, yeah, all right. I mean, kind of a lot of lands, but we got a Morningtide's Light, we got some card draw, we got some bounce. Let's just start with a tapped Hallowed Fountain. Go. About it. Tapped White Source, eh? Well, let's play the Helpful Hunter. Draw a card. Charming Prince. All right, I mean, that's fine. It's another redraw if we want it to be. Opponent, Emberheart. Oh, all right. Boros aggro, Emberheart Challenger down to 18. Well, I guess we just tempo him a little bit. Play the Jill, bounce the Challenger, make you replay it, hit you for 1. I mean, we can gain some life with the Charming Prince if we need to. About it, Emberheart Challenger. Well, I mean, we're going to take it. It's too risky to block. They could have any number of spells to blow us out. All right, gonna shock the Jill. Yeah, we kind of wanted that to live. Well, down to 15. We draw a Novice Inspector. Well, let's Charming Prince. I think we just scry. Oh boy, all right, 2 lands to the bottom. Well, I'm glad we scried, because we definitely do not want those. Play the Novice Inspector, play the creature land, and yeah, hit you for 1, I guess, down to 18. So we're hopeful, both, that we can set up a nice Morningtide's Light next turn. We do kind of want our creatures to live. Because Morningtide's Light, so we get the fog, all damage is prevented. All right, opponent's gonna play a Lizard. We draw a land. Well, I don't know what else we're doing with our lives other than casting this Morningtide's Light. Morningtide's Light, blink it, blink it, blink it. So we get what? We take 1. So we get a draw, a clue, and what are we gonna do with Charming Prince? We can gain 3. Scrying might be more important though. We could also, yeah, let's just blink and draw. That's even better, I think. Might as well just actually draw a card. Okay, Get Lost is something. And then we'll get another Helpful Healer on our end step. Plus, we don't get to take damage this turn, which is kind of huge. About it. Passing. Well, all right. Helpful Hunter returns. We get another card. Tylee. All right. Ooh, and a Quantum Riddler. Okay, that's even better. Well, let's play the tap land. I don't think it really matters. Let's put it on blue since we have a Plains in hand, and we're just gonna pass. We're just gonna pass. So we have the Get Lost, we can use the instant speed. We have the Tylee, we can use the instant speed. And then hopefully next turn, ooh, Lightning Helix to the face. Okay, maybe we just get burnt out. And then hopefully next turn we can draw 2 with this Riddler. That's idea anyway. I think we tap down, well, we play the Tylee. What do we tap? I think it's either Emberheart Challenger or Burnout Bastronaut. Our opponent's what, speed of 2? Yeah, let's just tap the Challenger for now. They don't have double strike yet, so if our opponent tries to attack, we can just double block and kill it. We need to gain some life at some point. Wow, opponent gonna get frisky. I mean, we're kind of okay with this. Actually, I think I'm hoping they attack here. Well, if they have a bunch of pump spells, that might be famous last word. Oh, gonna get him with the lizard? This is kind of a freebie. Block with the Novice Inspector. If you got a pump spell and you want to kill a Novice Inspector, kind of okay with that. All right, opponent, not gonna do anything, so they bounce. 4 cards in hand. Yeah, we're gonna crack this clue. It does reduce our odds of drawing 2 if we hit more lands, okay. And, ooh, Disruptor's not bad, though. Disruptor's not bad. We can actually maybe get in with the Charming Prince. At some point, we need to deal some damage to our opponent because they got burn spells in their deck, and if we just let them sit back forever, eventually they're going to draw enough Lightning Helixes to kill us. It might take a minute, but... I mean, I guess we can warp the Riddler. You know what? Let's just full price it. I think this makes the most sense. We can full price the Riddler, and thanks to the power of the Convoke mechanic, we can still... All right, opponent. Speaking of Lightning Helixes, there is one for our face down to 6. We can still Convoke out the Disruptor. We don't get to draw 2, but we still get to draw... Ooh, Charming Prince. Ooh. Huh. Yeah. I mean, we can still Convoke. The only risk of this is... Yeah, we're going to definitely gain 3. The only risk of this is if we have to do something pre-combat, we do have to tap all of our creatures to Convoke. I mean, we're up to 9, though, which makes me feel a little safer about the burn. At least a bit. A wee bit safer. At least Quantum Riddler's a clock. The problem is our opponent's still at 20. We have so much damage to deal to make our opponent die. Opponent. I think we have enough blockers that that's not a huge deal. Well, all right, Lightning Helix to the face. Opponent did a good job of drawing Lightning Helixes. Yeah, down to 6, increases the speed. And Flame Wake Phoenix. Okay, that's kind of fine. We don't really care about that too much. Opponent's down to... Wow, and opponent scoops it up. Okay, wow. I'm surprised they scooped there. I think the fact that we were down to 6, it seems worth sticking around just to try to draw more burn spells, but when was Flame Wake Phoenix put into standard? I mean, it's got to be Foundations. It's got to be one of those Foundation cards that I just did not realize is back in the format. Used to be a Hollow One staple in Modern at one point. Well, we bring in the Spell Snare. We don't have a ton in our sideboard that's for mono red style aggro. The Spell Snare is good, and I guess the Avatar's Wrath might be okay. Go down another round and run it like that. Hope for the best. All right, on to game number 2. We're going to be on the draw, but we are up a game, which is kind of big. All right, mono red, well, Boros mono red on the play. Let's see what we can do. I mean, this sounds fine. We got a cat, we got a Merfolk, we got a Tylee. All right, Seam Rip's good. I mean, this is a good Seam Rip matchup. Oh, about it. Untaps and starting down. Sure. Ooh, and plots a Slick Shot Show Off. Huh. Well, that's a little annoying because it does get around for a turn, the Seam Rip. I mean, I guess Flood Pit Drowner can take care of it. I kind of want to play this Hunter. Yeah, we're going to play the Hunter. How bad can it be? They only have 3 mana. Even if they play the Slick Shot, like, how much damage can it realistically be? And then we just Seam Rip it and carry on. Found it. More starting towns. Well, here it comes. There is the Slick Shot Show Off. Found it. Combat. And, well, how much are we taking? How about 1? 1 would be fine. Ooh, turn inside out. Okay. How about 6? 6 wouldn't be too bad. Can we stop there? Burst Lightning to the face. So 10 down to 10? Okay. Well, that was a painful turn. Half of our life while Seam Rip. Definitely getting rid of the Slick Shot Show Off, which just hit us for 10. And opponent, oh, that's, I don't think, going to do what you want. Redirect Lightning on the Seam Rip, but Seam Rip says your opponent controls. So they can't redirect it to one of our things, and they have nothing else that's a legal target, so... I mean, 5 damage for free. We'll take it, opponent. Passing. Huh. Well, let's play the land. Warp, I mean, this is huge. Warp a Quantum Riddler. And, I mean, we gotta do the Charming Prince Blink thing. Like, in this matchup, gaining life is so good, but I think we're better off just... Our opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. Blinking the Sphinx and trying to just kill our opponent in a couple of turns to minimize the amount of draws they get. Get it, hit you, opponent. I mean, 10 is... You need more than 3 lightning bolts to kill us. More than 3. That is a lot of burn our opponent needs. And they only have 2 turns to put it together. Opponent. Lightning Helix, down to 7. Untaps, draws. Come on, not. Lightning Strike to 4. No. Did you just top deck it? No. Not borrow. No. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right, so. Brutal. We're running it back. Apparently our opponent's a burn deck. They are more burn heavy than I would have guessed. Lightning Strikes. Lightning Helixes. And Boros Charms. Oh, I thought we had that one. Well, this hand, we have double Charming Prince, and this time we're probably going to try to gain some life. I mean, in our dream world, we just play Charming Princes, then Morningtides light the Charming Princes, and gain so much life, there's no way our opponent beats us, but we will see. Tap land, go. Wow. That was a good draw for our opponent. Well, opponent passes. I mean, we could have played the Charming Prince to gain life, but I think we played it right. I think it's just unfortunate that they drew it. Well, we're going to shock ourselves. We're going to get down this Charming Prince. And sadly, I think we got to scry this time because we do need to hit our land. So Disruptor bottom, Island to the top. We do need to get to 4 mana for our Morningtide's Light. And then future Charming Princes. Hopefully we can start gaining some life at some point. All right, there's a Slick Shot. We do have the spell snare though. Yeah, let's just pass. We kind of want to hold on to this Charming Prince with the Quantum Riddler if we can draw one more. Ooh, another one. Ugh. All right. Well, get in, hit ya. Down to 16. If we draw one more land, we can just do the Quantum Riddler Charming Prince thing, which is really good. So now what we want to do is counter a Quantum Riddler, a Slick Shot show off, counter a Slick Shot, and then Seam Rip it. Oh my god, where are our lands? Where are our lands? Down to 14, past the turn. We might have to run out one of these Charming Princes just to scry. Lightning Helix the face with 2 Slick Shots in exile. Interesting. I mean, we can't react to that because we have to counter a Slick Shot. We have to. All right, there's a Slick Shot. We're just going to counter the first one. There's still one coming. Hopefully this does not hurt too badly. Oh, maybe, yeah, opponent Slick Shot. Hits us. Come on. Minimal spells. No spells. How about no spells? Shocks the face. Down to 13. Yeah, we probably should have played a Charming Prince and scried. Lightning Strikes. Man, they have so much burn. And shock. My god, they have a lot of burn. All right, down to 1. Down to 1, and that is not a land. Well, Seam Rip. Get rid of the Slick Shot show off. Charming Prince. So much for our plan of getting down this Quantum Riddler. Gain 3, go up to 4. So we're dead to a Boros Charm, not dead to a Lightning Bolt, though. Opponent, land. Come on, deck. Oh, Avatar's Wrath. If we can just draw one land, we can Morningtide light all of these Charming Princes, gain a ton of life and win this game. Well, Novice Inspector, make a clue. Charming Prince. We're giving up on the Quantum Riddler plan. That's not happening. Gain 3, up to 7. How have we not drawn land number 4 yet? Ugh. We even scried 1 to the bottom. 1 to the bottom, 1 to the top. Bound it. Land. Huh? 5/5 trample haste dork. Well, we need to draw land magic gods, and it needs to be untapped. We're gonna go to 2. It's the 4th Charming Prince. My goodness. Well, 1 and 2 Charming Prince. Well, we have officially drawn more copies of Charming Prince than we have lands, and we have 24 lands and we have 4 Charming Princes. This game, though, opponent Lightning Strikes down to 2, and what, you top deck another? Oh boy. I do think I should have ran out one of the Charming Princes earlier to scry, so I think that was on me. scry again. On the other hand, going like 16 cards deep and hitting 3 lands and having the literal win on board, if we could just cast the Morningtide's Light, is a brutal way to lose. But, well, next time. Oh, I got double Quantum Riddler. I mean, we're going to keep this. Only 2 lands, but we got a bunch of Quantum Riddlers. We got a little bit of removal. Got a Morningtide's Light, so I think it's fine. All right, opponent. Opponent. Gonna put a land at the bottom and land. What do we do? So opponent's some sort of red deck. Let's just play tap land go. Oh, Rakdos. Iron Shield Elf, eh? Oh, this might be Rakdos elves. No, Rakdos Monument. That's been a deck I've seen a couple of times. A couple of times I've seen people trying Rakdos, like, aggro Monument decks. Yeah, there's a Monument. That makes sense. Well, we keep hitting our land drops, which is good. I mean, I think we just pass, because next turn we can do the Charming Prince Quantum Riddler thing, and then we can Morningtide's Light. So I actually like where we're at. Opponent, fear missing out. I'm going to trigger the Monument, do a little rummaging here. Discards away a Requiting Hex. All right, and draws another card, sure. So I feel like this deck is more like, compared to Lessons, I feel like this is more of a creature aggro deck that also can play Monument, rather than the Lessons deck is pretty in on Monument to win the game. Opponent, yeah, triggers Monument, another FOMO. We're going to round a Tylee, block down a FOMO, drop to 17, win another round. Well, I mean, we're going to do the thing, Quantum Riddler, Morbid. Why do people not play Charming Prince more? Charming Prince seems like a pretty solid card to me at the moment. Well, Charming Prince, blank the Riddler, and pass the turn. I mean, Charming Prince is one of those cards. It doesn't have any, like, extraordinary skill. Some cards, like Badger Molekup, it does one thing incredibly well, which is make a ton of mana. Charming Prince doesn't do anything incredibly well, but it does a bunch of, like, reasonable things fairly well, and I think there's still room for cards like that. Well, Novice Inspector is kind of free with Convoke, so let's get down the Inspector. Get down the Inspector. I mean, I think we're just setting up, man, if we can draw one more land, get in with a Quantum Riddler. I think we're setting up either an insane Morningtide's Light or an even more insane another round if we can draw one more land, because we can Convoke in the bounce. If our opponent tries to trigger oh, well, okay, we can't. We can't actually stop that. I was thinking if they played a FOMO or something, or the Iron Shield Elf, we could bounce one of the Monuments. Cannot do that in response to cycling. The card has already been discarded. Mountain and Inti. That one we can respawn to. And I think we just bounce the Inti. That probably makes more sense. So, Disruptor, bounce the Inti. So this way they can't trigger the Monuments this turn. And now, can we just draw a land? Double another round here is probably game ending. We do not. Well, we can still Morningtide's Light. We could also wait and just, like, do another Charming Prince loop. Yeah, let's get in Hitcha. I mean, we have another Prince. We have another Quantum Riddler. Our opponent's down to 7. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I think this is actually just better. Quantum Riddler number 2. Quantum Riddler is kind of a messed up card. Quantum Riddler number 2, draw a card. And Charming Prince number 2. Blink the Riddler. And I mean, we found the land. So next turn we have the most absurd another round that I can actually imagine. Oh, it would be so insane. The problem is we're actually just winning. So we might not even get to another round because our opponent might actually just die. Turns out that multiple Quantum Riddlers. Opponent going to kill one of our Charming Princes. Sure. I mean, I think we just actually win, unfortunately. I mean, it sounds so funny, but I want to guess another round. Opponent. Inti gets in with a FOMO. Gets to discard. Gets to trigger their Monuments. What are we doing with the Monuments, opponent? What are we doing with the Monuments? So Inti, gonna pump, exiles, sure, draws a couple cards. Do we even care about killing this? Yeah, we're not even gonna risk it. I mean, we just kill them by attacking with the two Riddlers. We'll just take it. Down to 14, and opponent, well, we won, sadly. I wanted to cast it another round, but, I mean, I guess a win is also fine. So opponent's playing Rakdos Monument, eh? Well, we want the artifact destruction. Tidebinder can be an answer to Monument. Go down Tylee. Go down Helpful Hunter. And yeah, another round. Run it like that. All right. On to game number 2, we're going to be on the draw up against some Rakdos Monument. Monument Endurance is a cool card. I do like Monument quite a bit. It's sweet to see something other than Lessons taking advantage of it, because it is just such a cool payoff. Well, I mean, we're going to keep this. A little bit tepid with our Igniquella, but opponent going to start with a Baby Shark. Well, we will Seam Rip the Baby Shark. Do. What are we doing? What are we doing over there, opponent? Land and Iron Shield Elf. Well, unfortunately for our opponent, we have a very Seam Rip heavy hand. Seam Rip. Get rid of your Iron Shield Elf. Yeah, I mean, cards like that just pick up on so much Badger Mold Cubby. Well, let's play Novice Inspector. I mean, that's part of what makes Elementals doing well so amazing is people are kind of like pre-boarded for it because the same things that hate on Badger Mole hate on Flame Breeder, but still doing the thing. Now, opponent gets down a Fleam, well, the front side of Flame, and a Moonshadow. Well, we're going to play another Novice Inspector. I think we just pass. Like, I think we're trying to set up the Quantum Riddler Charming Prince thing, so we can sack a clue to draw a card. I mean, if our opponent gets in with Moonshadow, we will double block super quick. Our opponent is not. Opponent's going to hit us. Down to 19. Sure. Gets to loot. Cannot block the Goblin. All right. Triggers a Moonshadow. Grows it up to a 2-2. And there's an Inti. Well, crack the clue. Can we hit a land, please? Yes. Okay. Well, that is where we want to be. Opponent tap land. Well, now we get to play the land. Quantum Riddler warp it. It turns out that just doing this is pretty effective. Like, Quantum Riddler into Charming Prince on 4 is actually very good. Very good. Yeah, blanket. It's coming back and pass the turn. Can you beat a 4/6 flyer, opponent? A surprising number of decks answer to that is honestly no. I mean, especially, all right, opponent has a, wow, Feed the Swarm. That is a painful answer, but it gets the job done. Opponent getting in. Wait, can't we just, like, put everything in front of this Moonshadow? Opponent hits an Iron Shield Elf. They have no cards. Yeah, I mean, block. So we lose a Charming Prince and 1 Inspector, and they lose the Moonshadow. That seems like a win for us. So we go to 18. Opponent gets to loot. Oh, and they can't even play the Elf because, wow, that's unfortunate for them. Oh, and we get to do it again. Oh, this might just be game. Quantum Riddler, warp it, draw a card. How about a Charming Prince? Blink the Quantum Riddler. Play the land. And pass the turn. Get back the Riddler. Draw another card. Yeah, if we just keep drawing Quantum Riddlers and Charming Princes. Found it. There's the Monument. Nothing to discard, though. Oh, they get to draw and discard. All right, opponent gets in with the Gobin. Loots. Triggers Monument to draw a card. Another feed. Wow, they're all in on the Feed the Swarms. That is a painful way to kill something, but hitting enchantments, I guess, is important. Found it. Untap land. Iron Shield Elf. Well, another Seam Rip. Well, let's just Seam Rip. Get rid of this unblockable Gobin. And yeah, I mean, I guess we just raid here and blow up the Monument, put a counter on everything. Yeah, seems fine. And I guess we just attack you and win that way. I mean, our stuff is growing. Play the land, go to combat, get in, hit ya. You know what? We're gonna get in with everything. Get in with everything. I think we just win this race. Pound it. Gonna block with the Elf. Sure. Down to 4. And it's Inti versus the world for our opponent. Untaps and draws. And... okay. Getting in with the Inti. Gonna do some looting. Discards a land. And Inti says... death. It's a Monument. And the Monument not gonna do it here. And opponent scoops it up. And, well... Quantum Riddler Charming Prince. Not bad. Not bad. We got a Novice Inspector. Got the Morningtide's Light. See what our opponent's up to. Land and Cecil Demir. Demir, our old friend. It's kind of funny. Demir is not like super popular in the real world, or at least when you see tournament results. But boys, people they love their Dimir deck. It might be a case that a lot of people just built this deck, and now it's like the deck that they have already invested their wildcards in. So that's a possibility. Let's just play the land untapped on blue, pass the turn. We can leave up our, well, hit you for 1, pass the turn. We can leave up to tap down Deer Cecil here. We just don't want to get Kaido'd. So run out the Flood Pit Drowner. If they counter it, they don't have the mana to play the Kaido. All right, that's fine. I mean, they countered it, but that means they can't Kaido this turn anyway. Opponent gets in, hits us down to 14. Opponent down to 13. We find, oh, Seam Rip, okay. Yeah, let's shock. Seam Rip, this lets us pay 2 if they have a Spell Pierce style effect, Spell Stutter. Get rid of the Cecil. And then I think we just pass and draw a card, and if we can just hit a land, ooh, all right, opponent's got a Flood Pit Drowner. We don't really care about the Drowner. We do care a little bit about them putting a Kaido into play. So I think since they did this during our main phase, we're actually just going to play the Charming Prince, blank the Inspector, get another blocker. This does mean the Charming Prince Quantum Riddler line no longer on the table. But it also means our opponent can't get a cheap Kaido, which is kind of huge. Gonna kill the Charming Prince. Nope, opponent passes. I guess we just play it. Like, that's better than cracking a clue, right? Unless they counter it, then it's actually worse. But getting the body on the battlefield is helpful with Morningtide's Light. All right, opponent is going to kill the Charming Prince. Got to shoot the Sheriff. Well, draw with the Helpful Hunter. All right, so there's the land. I mean, that is good. Sadly, we don't have a very big board at the moment to go with these Morningtide Lights. Enduring Curiosity. Well, we got to do something about that. Ooh, Disruptor Occurrence is good. That is actually very good. Actually, I think we just do this now. I think we're actually going to shock. We're going to take 2 to deal 1. Some classic Magic math. Disruptor Occurrence. Bounce Enduring Curiosity. Hit you for 1. So now our opponent has to spend mana to play it again. They'll probably do it main phase because they did last turn. All right, there's Enduring Curiosity. Oh, man, I wish we drew a land. Come on, land. Oh, yes. Okay, that's huge. Quantum Riddler, Morningtide's Light, blink them all. That is what we wanted. End step, it's all coming back. Damage prevented until the next turn. Bounce Enduring Curiosity. Draw a card. Another Disruptor. Oh, we're in such good shape now. We're in such good shape now. Opponent land, untap down to 10. And Deep Cavern Bat, our opponent. Once they see this hand, I think our opponent is going to know that they cannot win this game. And opponent agrees, scoops it up, and apparently we're the Dimir Assassins. Well, Dimir. Spell Snare in. Tidebinders. I'm mostly just, so it's 2 cards, right? Kaido and Enduring Curiosity. Those are the 2 cards that actually scare us in this matchup. So we want to bring in stuff that can answer them, which is mostly Tishana's Tidebinder. We can go down maybe another round. Go down Helpful Hunter. Maybe the Larcenist. Run it like that. Larcenist really needs to stick around to be good, and I feel like Dimir just has enough removal. Even with the word 1, I think they can just pay for it. All right. That sounds kind of marginal, but we're going to try it. We're going to trust that these 2 Quantum Riddlers are going to let us hit our land drops and actually play some magic here. Opponent, tap land. Let's just play the land on blue tapped. Go. And Cecil. Yeah, I guess Multiversal Passage on white. And we can get rid of the Cecil. Gotta keep the ninjutsu off the table. Opponent untaps. Like, if you have to just cast Kaido for 4 mana, it's not nearly as scary as when you ninjutsu it for 3. Opponent, another Cecil. We draw a Morningtide's Line. Well, let's warp a Riddler. See if we can hit some land drops. We are kind of going shields down, but we only had a tap land, so it's not like we could leave up the Tidebinder anyway. All right, Bitter Triumph, gonna kill it. Well, we still get to draw a card. All right, Hollowed Fountain, well, yeah, let's just play the tap land, pass the turn. All right, how about no Kaido? How about no Kaido? Can we just not do the Kaido thing? Oh, they got it. You can tell. Like, as soon as they attack, you can tell. Just the way they're hovering. Yeah, there's the Kaido. I mean, we can still try to Tideminder it in the future, but oh, it would have been so much better if we could have done it then. Agnaquella. Wrecked by the one of Agnaquella opponent. Spyglass Siren. All right, well, we draw more tap lands. Well, all right, we're going to trust in our Tishana's Tideminder to stop the Planeswalking Menace. Opponent duresses. Well, you can't duress a Tideminder. Sadly, they can duress our Morningtide's Light, which they're going to do because that's the only option. Going to be interesting. Opponent takes the Morningtide's Light. So now our opponent knows about the Tideminder. We'll see if that plays into how they play this turn. Like, our plan is definitely to... All right, opponent counter on top. Gonna keep it. I mean, our plan's definitely to make Kaido lose all of its abilities. Opponent getting in. Gonna hit us. Down to 10. All right, opponent going to try to draw with Kaido. Well, in response, counter that Kaido. So now Kaido, until they get rid of the Tideminder, does nothing. So we still need to kill it, because eventually they're going to be able to kill the Tideminder. So we can Seam Rip. They only have 1 mana? I think this is worth it. So we can Seam Rip the Cecil. Shock, fire up the creature land, kill Kaido. It's a little awkward. To fight Kaido with Tideminder, only to then kill Kaido anyway. But the thing is, Tideminder is a temporary reprieve, right? Sooner or later, they'll find a removal spell, kill the Tideminder, then Kaido goes back to doing its thing. So I think we could also just leave up Disruptor, but what are we going to disrupt a Spyglass Siren? That doesn't sound great. I think we just do it. Fire up the Anchorage, everything at Kaido, get the map. And Kaido now dealt with permanently. Our opponent draws a counter, but it's a counter that we can probably play around. Opponent combat. Without the Kaido to draw the cards, I feel much better about our... Ooh, Vren. I feel much better about our position. Ooh, Morningtide's Light. Okay. Well, unfortunately, this friend has Ward, so we can't actually bounce it. The only other Disruptor target is still the Spyglass. I mean, we can bounce our own stuff, but that doesn't seem great. Yeah, let's just warp a Riddler, see if we can hit a land for the Morningtide's Light. Okay, land. Well, we do have to shock. I think it's worth it. We came here to Morningtide's Light, and Morningtide's Light we will. And we also don't take damage next turn, so Morningtide's Light. Blink them both. And get them. Oh, no. No. Wait. Oh. We triggered the Vren. The way Vren is worded, I didn't even think about that. So it makes things that die go to exile, and then it says you make rats for, well, opponent doesn't know the damage is prevented, so we're not dead. And then it says they make a rat for each thing your opponent controlled that went to exile. So technically, I guess Vren is just the hard counter to Morningtide's Light. Oh, we might actually lose because of that. I knew that Ven made rats from things dying. I guess I should have read it and realized that the way it's worded, it actually hoses Morningtide's Light. Of all the random things to hose, let's play that. I mean, we're still not 100% dead. So we can Seam Rip, get rid of one of the rats. Then we can block. And then Disruptor of Currents, bounce something, probably another rat. And now that we know how Vren works, you're gonna have to be a little cautious about giving our opponent more rats. I mean, we can pay for the counter. The counter shouldn't really be an issue. Opponent gonna go to combat. I think we gotta kill the Vren. So block Kaido. Sure. All right, well, yeah. Disruptor Currents. Opponent can't counter it still. So we can bounce the rat to keep the Tideminder alive. Then we can kill the Kaido. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm so dumb. The Kaido's actually lethal. Oh, well. Avert your eyes, YouTube. There may have been a slight bit of punning going on in that one. All right. On to game 3, that's fine. We just wanted to see a game 3. with this super cool deck. So now we're back. We're on the play. If you make a punt, you just gotta shake it off and move on. That is literally the only thing you can do in Magic. Like, what you don't want to do in Magic when you punt is lead to a cascade of errors, which is a very easy thing to do, where you make a dumb play and then you make more dumb plays to try to cover up the first dumb play. That is what you don't want to do. Well, Helpful Hunter, draw a card. I mean, this hand's fine. We got double Tidebinder, so hopefully we can deal with Kaido, and we know how that silly Bren works now, so so that's a bonus. Bonus Swamp and getting in for one, sure. I really want to just stifle the ninjutsu trigger on a Kaido, but man, this is a very, very painful. Well, getting to hit ya. Yeah, we're drawing all the shock lands down to 17. Yeah, Hallowed Fountain untapped, go. Opponent, Flood Pits Drowner. Sure, I'm gonna tap down. Yeah, I mean, our creatures aren't very good, so either one is fine. Taps down the Novice Inspector. Opponent, Fountain Port. Wow, just gonna crack the map. Sure. I guess we just cracked the clue. We're not gonna be using our Tidebinder this turn. Well, there's a Morningtide's Light. Found adds us down to 11. Although, a chunk of that is on us. Well, let's play the land on white, untap, get down the Novice Inspector. I think we've taken 6 off of our mana base, so I think our opponent's dealt 5 to us and we've dealt 6 to us. Oh, another Flood Pits Drowner. We might actually just have to stifle this. I don't think our opponent has a Kaido in hand, because I think we just take too much damage, right? We're already at 9. They tap that down. They swing with everything. We know they have this Glitter Glamour coming. Yeah, I think we just gotta Tidebind it. Get another blocker down. I don't think they have a Kaido, because I think they had a window to do it last turn, and instead they correct a map. If they have it, they can put it into play, because they have the flyer. All right, Bitter Triumph, that's fine. Bitter Triumph, gonna kill the Tidebinder. Opponent gets in. Well, we're gonna block and block. Get rid of the Flood Pits Drowner. Opponent flashes in the Pump Fairy, and well, all right, just gonna get as much damage as possible. Hit us down to 4 in the air. We find even more Morningtide's Lights. Well, the Morningtide's Lights are fogs. They are fogs. And I think we're gonna have to use them as such. Man, that is a sad Morningtide's Light, but blink out the Thraben Inspector. Pass the turn. Get another clue. Well, this is looking grim. It is looking grim. We find, okay, well, we drew a Quantum Riddler, which means things are looking less grim. How do we want to do this? We warp the Riddler, try to draw a land in Morningtide's Light. If we whiff here, I guess we're not literally dead on board, because we can take 3 and go to 1. We really just need a pain-free untap. Oh, painful land. Do we go to 2? Oh, I think we do. Man, these shock lands. Morningtide's Light, number 2. Blink them both. Come on, no. If they have a counter, they just win. All right, no counter. Damage prevented. Our stuff returns. I'm pretty sure we have shocked ourselves 5 times. We've just had to shock every single turn to play on curve, and we drew all the 3 Multiversal Passage to Elevations. So we had to draw a card. It's a Plains. Well, this is a scary position. We cannot take basically any damage for the rest of the game. I mean, I guess we can take 1. Opponent. All right, opponent gets in on seeing how much fun we're having over here. Gets in on the shocking themselves action with a Watery Grave. It's a blast, opponent. It's a blast being at 2 life when you should be at 12. It's amazing. Like, normally you think of these lands as they're so good that it's totally worth the cost, but we think of them as just being so strong. This is one of those cases, though, where, man, the damage is actually really, really adding up. Well, we're going to play the land, and I guess we pass. So I think this turn, we have Tidebinder plus Flood Pits Drowner. Get stuff on the battlefield. Next turn, all right, opponent also has Flood Pits Drowner. Thankfully, we can Tidebinder that, or else we would actually just be dead. Well, the Tidebinders have been great. Tidebinder, fizzle it. Yeah, I mean, our opponent still looks like they have lethal, too. I wonder if they... Deep Cavern Bat. That's unfortunate. Oh, our Morningtide's Light. All right. Yeah, Flood Pits Drowner. Tap down. the biggest of the flyers, which is a 2/2 Spyglass Siren. But get that out of here. Found it. Deep Cavern Bat. Well, there goes our Morningtide's Light. We cannot do a thing about that. Passing. Well, let's crack a clue. Draw 2, thanks to Quantum Riddler. 2 good ones, actually. Man, are we gonna wow, another Disruptor. We might actually be able to claw our way back into this. We were so close to being dead, but now our opponent's out of cards. We're not out of cards. We have... All right, opponent gonna make another fish. We have a bunch of removal in hand. I think we might somehow, some way... be able to stabilize from here. What a wild game. Man, we played some interesting games with this deck. Found it. Well, let's Ty. So at some point, what we can do is we can use the Disruptor to bounce the Bat to get back the Morningtide's Light to blink our board. Once we use out the Morningtide's Light, yeah, I think we just tap everything here. Tap them all. Disruptor of Currents. And I think we just go for the Bat now, right? And then the Morningtide's Light gets rid of all the tokens and lets us reuse all of our ETL. Like, this Morningtide's Light, if this works, it should be game ending. Bounce the Bat. Oh, I'm dumb. I should have cracked a Clue and response. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, we're going to generate so much value. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's just go all in. Another Disruptor Occurrence. And opponent going to use a Phantom Interference. That is fine. We untap, we draw 2. Well, let's Charming Prince, gain a little bit of life, get a little bit out of this danger zone, up to 5, tap land, and here it is, Morningtide's Light. 1, 2, do we leave the Ty? I think we leave the Ty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gotta get in first. We don't want to blink until we attack. This is free damage. All right, opponent, gonna take it down to 8. Now we Morningtide's Light. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Token. All right. Cool. So we wrath half of our opponent's board. We blank all of our ETB stuff. End of turn. It all comes back. We get a pile of triggers. Charming Prince. We're just going to gain life. We could blank the Quantum Riddler, draw even more cards. Tap down the flyer. Maybe we bounce our own stuff. Maybe we bounce our own, like, Quantum Riddler. Just have another removal spell. Yeah, let's bounce our own Quantum Riddler. Gain some life. Draw with Quantum Riddler. So we have a Flood Pit Drowner in hand. Opponent. All right. We do not have a Flood Pit Drowner in hand. I don't think this matters, though. We have all these clues. We have the bigger board. Our opponent has 1 functional creature. Another Deep Cavern Bat. Sure. And opponent. Passing. We draw, sadly, all the lands. Actually, maybe we just attack with everything. We're up to 8 now. Let's just attack with everything. I don't think this is lethal, but I think this forces everything to block on our opponent's side. It's going to get rid of the bats. It's going to get us back the Flood Pits Drowner. I think that does it. That Morningtide's Light. It only took 1. But that was, oh my goodness, so good. Morningtide's Light, it's better than people give it credit for. Opponent does the block it, drops to 4. We get back the Flood Pits Drowner. We pass the turn. Opponent, last gasp. It's another bat in response. Flood Pits Drowner. I mean, we'll tap something down. We can't really die from 8 anyway. And opponent scoops it up and, well, we've seen Morningtide's Light and it's actually pretty glorious. And we're ranking up. Well, sweet. So what did we learn this week about Morningtide's Light in Standard? And the deck actually kind of crushed it. We went 10-4 with the deck for a 71% match win percentage. And that was despite the fact that, looking back on this, I think I actually played the deck kind of badly. One thing I didn't do at all with Morningtide's Light was use it aggressively. Like, we used it to blink our own creatures a ton, and it was really powerful. We used it to snipe some of our opponent's tokens, which was really nice in some matchups. But one thing I think I could have done at various points that I just didn't really think about because I was so focused on getting value out of my own creatures was using Morningtide's Light just to clear blockers out of the way. So going back through the games, I'm pretty sure there were a couple of times where I could have just like blinked all of our opponent's stuff and swung in for lethal, but I didn't do it. So the fact that the deck kind of crushed it, even though I think I played our namesake card a little bit worse than it actually should be, is really impressive. And just the value of this deck is kind of immense. We have all this ETB value where we're just drawing all these cards, cycling through our deck, and then we just have infinite removal. Like half of the creatures in our deck are actually removal in some form or another. So we have all these answers to just bounce your thing, tap down your thing, and then eventually Morningtide's Light or another round lets us reuse it and do it again. So it just makes it really hard for opponent's deck to actually get much traction against it. So Morningtide's Light, I think this card is actually way better than people think. Like, I think this card's actually really good. It just reads so weird, and it's formatted in such an odd way for what it does and what we're used to that I think people tend to overlook it. But I think Morningtide's Light is actually kind of busted, and just playing it with a ton of these value-y ETB creatures works surprisingly well. So if you like Pandermonicon style decks, ETB focused, reuse my ETB trigger style decks, blink style decks, I actually think Morningtide's Light might actually be a pretty legit option in lower Eclipse Standard. But anyway, that's Morningtide's Light. That's been our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.